Hey guys, I thought I would do my Ronin 2 review off the cuff. Just a couple of days of use. Today has been my heaviest use. Pretty much used it for any EDC task other than some tape cutting, which really wouldn't bother with it. About 4.1 inches of BD1 steel. I think I've seen it in BD1N. I could be mistaken. I don't know if that's a new revision. This one was sharpened to 16 degrees per side. It was sharpened before and used, it looks like. I took it to about 1,000 grit and then finished it on some ceramics. Left a really toothy edge, which I was surprised by a non-tool steel, but comparable, I think, from what I read, to VG10, maybe some less edge holding. So my expectations for its edge retention wasn't much, but that really wasn't a concern for me because this is more of a defensive tool. Now, as an EDC tool, I hear it does strop back. Well, I haven't tried it, but it's a real skinny profile, if you can tell. Squared off scales, very thin diameter. Pros with that is this conceals really well. I'm a skinny fellow with a shirt. I can wear it around the 3 to 4 o'clock position and it doesn't really show. The sheath it comes with, very positive retention, no shake, no rattle, and this little belt clip that it comes with can be positioned in other ways. I can't really scout carry this because I'm, like I said, a skinnier fellow, so I wear it up and down. I haven't tried any other clips on this. I might have some multi-clips, but I haven't tried that yet. But I would like to try this in waistband just to see how it does. It worked well out of waistband. Like I said, BD1 steel. I think it's Carpenter who does like 204P, stuff like that. I did add some goon tape. The G10 had good traction, but I wanted a little bit more, little tiny bit of squish. I didn't layer too much, and it gave it some more friction and some texture to it, which I do appreciate. And it made the grip a little softer, but still held traction for me. Like I said, after I stropped it and sharpened it at 16 degrees, the first time I didn't do it completely right, and there was a little bit of rough spots right here where I didn't apex fully, but I did it a second time and it came out really well. Very toothy, especially at 1,000 grit. I'm kind of curious how this would do mirror polish, but I don't think that's necessary. How I view this is a defensive tool. When I was cutting, I did like almost a trash can full of cardboard at work. When I was cutting with it, you could really put a lot of power down just because of the way it's designed. You have your thumb ramp there, just like a Yojimbo. This is designed by Michael Janich. Same concept, where with the Warncliffe blade and with you holding like this, when you cut into an object, the edge keeps going into it rather than maybe like a knife with the belly, which will curve away. It continues to go through that path of cutting, which lends to a very deep cut. So I was able to stay on cuts pretty well. I was able to control it real well. As it was losing its feeling, as its toothiness, I did notice it was a little bit harder, but with the geometry, with that hollow grind, which is one of the biggest things I love about the Yojimbo and the Janich design blades, is that hollow grind, where it's a flat rub here, and as it hits that bevel, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner until it gets to the thickness at the apex itself. So it's able to separate harder materials a lot easier when you're cutting into it. Love hollow grinds, and it'll stay thinner as you sharpen up and get higher and higher on there. But you can tell it's not been used too much. I did use it all day. After about putting a trash can worth of cardboard at work, I mean, I put out a lot. I'll post a video of pretty much how much I cut with it. It lost its initial bite, but it has a jagged feel on there, almost like it's kind of destroying some of the steel with that abrasive cardboard, and it's still biting in the stuff. I'm still able to somewhat cleanly cut paper. Let me get a piece of paper to do that now. It's not getting hung up, but it's still able to cut. I mean, you can hear it's not as clean as before, but it's not stopping. But like I said, I don't think I would consider this an everyday carry knife. It's just more of an emergency self-defense tool. Now, if you're just occasionally cutting, this will be great. Like I said, this was very easy to sharpen. The amount of steel I was hogging off with just my regular CBN stones was a lot more than other steels that are a little bit more modern, 30 S30V, S35VN. You know, tools was obviously a little bit harder, but very comparable to VG10. I think this will be easy to maintain, easy to stay sharp if you don't use it, and if it does get dull, you're not going to have much of an issue with sharpening this guy. Overall, I'm really happy with the design. I love the sheath that came in. Like I said, very positive retention with drain holes up here. Now, one thing I do wish to get maybe is a new sheath, because they use the pancake design where it's 2 different layers rather than 1 sandwich layer. So maybe a little bit thinner design where they fold over at the back and meet together at the front towards the edge. That way it'll eliminate a lot of this, and you'll have your clips over here. But for the price, I mean, for the size and for the power you get, if you ever actually have to pull this out and use it, it's awesome. The only other defensive blade I have is this reactive edge, which was sent by the same friend. I mean, this is just a slash and ripper, but also a lot more pocketable, I think, with the size. This is the size difference from that and this. And someone asked me the difference between the size of this versus a PM2. So this is the RONIN, and this is the PM2. So overall length about the same, but if you notice the cutting surface, you get a lot more with the fixed blade, and you're not having to worry about having to deploy this if you ever have to use it. You just rip it out and you're good to go. You don't have to flick it open. I mean, I like folders. I don't think they're the most ideal defensive knife, but if you have it, I never want to get into a knife fight. I have not trained formally for one, and I do not ever want to consider having to pull that out, but it is a last resort if I have it. Between pepper spray, you know, just mentality and awareness, flashlight, and a gun, this would be my last thing. And then obviously running away, because listen, I'm not trying to get into a fight. I want to get out of trouble. I'm not the type of person to be all macho and say I want to find trouble and, you know, imagine and fantasize about the days I'll use my gun or knife. That's not, like, realistically, that's an ugly situation, because the aftermath of that is going to be disgusting, and I'll probably cut myself. But reverse grip, very comfortable. The way the handles form, you got your 2 fingers up here, your 3rd and 4th finger below it, and it just locks in. I don't really see a way of it choking up. I never was afraid of it slipping and cutting myself when I was cutting the cardboard today. Never lost confidence in it, other than losing its bite. The geometry alone would keep it cutting, but otherwise, defensive knife, this thing is a beast. So that's my thoughts. I don't know if I skipped anything. This was really off the cuff. Let me know what you guys think of that. Any questions, you guys holler at me. And I appreciate y'all's time, and y'all be safe.